Welcome. Another edition of CENTERCOURT Weekly is coming right up. I got Frank Wolf across from me. Thankfully, he's back. We're going to talk about where I've been, where I'm going, and some predictions for these quarterfinals coming up.
Yeah, back by popular demand or unpopular demand, depending who you ask these days. But anyways, it's I missed you last week. I watched.
Oh, I missed you.
Did you?
That's how it went. I missed you. You chose not to be here. You said, I'm going to just take a pause for the cause today. I said I will soldier on by myself. And
I wanted to get out of your way.
yeah.
Playoffs are here. Playoff games underway. Monsignor Martin went at it big time last night out at Kessler Center, Canisius College, Canisius University, whatever they're calling it these days.
The Kessler Athletic Center.
Yes.
We stick to that.
Go for that.
Right.
KAC, the CAC.
Yep.
I got there to set up a camera, and then I quickly bailed. I didn't even see you. I saw your cast of characters, the Center Court Brigade, your groupies. I saw a bunch of them, said hello, wished them well, and I got out of there.
I like that word, brigade.
The brigade better than the groupies?
We should get the listeners caught up. Frank was in a wedding last night, and he had a great night. Really enjoyed himself.
Had a real good night.
Had to sleep in the office. Woke him up, so we're doing a show now. So
Yes. I'm on my third cup of coffee.
right.
But yes, I did roll out of the chair and into the studio for today's show. But now that I've caught my breath. But two fabulous games last night. Nichols Joe's got things kicked off. Your boy Blemon had a 30-point night.
Yeah, he looked real good last night. He's looked real good all season, but last night was
Before we get into
solid
the
performance.
Section 6 playoffs, and we got a lot to talk about there, why don't we talk about the two games last night and what we're going to see on Saturday? Would you please?
So the two games last night were entertaining. Neither one of them. I put out information before the game. 10 of the last 11 and now 11 of the last 12 games between Canisius and Timon have been decided by double digits. And I think it was a similar number with the St. Joe's Nichols. Not quite as, not down to the one game difference, but that's what we got last night was two double-figure games. Still entertaining games. St. Joe's started fast, and that big court at the CAC is that suits them well when they get moving and get up and play downhill a little bit like they did last night and feel good about how it's going. It's a tough thing to stop. They got Nate established early. Nate, I think he had 18 points at half. We're watching some highlights now.
Look at that guy laying down, taking pictures.
There's Palfrey from the corner. Palfrey had a very nice game.
We're picking up two.
Finished the
different things.
season strong. He's had a great year.
Did you see the guy just laying down, taking photos? I love it. That was awesome. I think
Was
that was
it?
Damone Mayfield. That's my guy. Damone.
Gooseby with a finish.
Yeah, this was a good game. You had good refs on this game, too.
There was six
Great
good officials there last night. Joes gets it into Blemon. Blemon keeps his footwork, follows the shot.
Yeah. He's doing a better job around the rim. Finishing.
He is, and they're doing a better job of looking his way more consistently and not getting shots up quite as quickly in offensive sets, and it makes him dangerous. And then when the dam broke last night, so to speak, in that game, Joe's got moving in transition pretty good. Jazzy Lanza checks in, hits a three-pointer. Then Joe's gets a steal. They come down. Gianni Zelasco sends a alley-oop off the backboard to Blemon. Blemon flushes it. Lanza hits another three. And Blemon grabs a rebound, goes coast to coast with another dunk. I actually have highlights of those two dunks on my X. That's really where the game just got away fast, and you knew it was Joe's game for most of the night. Nichols kept it closer than maybe people expected. They did a really good job. At the end of the day, Joe's was able to break that dam. And then in the second game, really good game. through the first half. Second half, Timon came out and made the run and really changed the game early in the second half. Got the game tied up at 33. What Canisius did well was they did a good job of managing the Timon runs, because Timon made a run to get it to 33. I think they got the game tied at 30. Then they got the game tied at 33. I remember Canisius maybe getting the next 4 points, the next 2 baskets to move it back to a 4-point lead. It ended up going to the fourth quarter, I believe 44-36. So that would be an 11-3 run to close after Timon tied. Then Canisius didn't allow them back in after that. They were able to extend their lead, have a slight double-figure lead in the fourth quarter, and make the plays to close out the game.
Suffocating at times.
Yeah. Nakai Harris was great for Timon last night, as he's been all season. They maybe didn't get enough secondary support in the scoring column that they could have used, and that's a credit to Canisius' defense. What did Canisius give up in total to Timon last night? What was the final score? Maybe low 50s, and that's a team averaging 70s. So that's my recap, yeah. And so now we get a Saturday night showdown with 1 and 2. The third time this season that number 1 versus number 2 happens between those two. That's not happened.
There's going to be a game before that.
No, there's going to be a game after that.
After that. Oh, really? Joe's Canisius is going to be the first game.
It is.
Is that a mistake?
Yes. It's 1,000% a mistake. I didn't inquire as to the logic, because it's set in stone, and if you want to know why, you're just showing your disapproval for something that you're not going to change anyway, but I guess you're asking me to show it now. Park plays St. Mary's for the right to advance to the Catholic High School Athletic Association state championship game, because there is no state semifinal. Most of the private schools that would be at that level in New York State play in the public school ranks. We're one of 2 sections, us and Long Island, that keep the private schools separate and then a separate playoff pool. So the narrative has always been it's a joke that one of our teams just can lose their last game and go out there, but you have to have a representative from this area. It's not really Park or St. Mary's fault. Whoever wins that game, someone's got to go and do it. At the end of the day, you can not like it if St. Mary's wins that game, if they win against Park, and then they go and win in Long Island or New York City, wherever they're going to play that final game, and celebrate we're state champions. They are state champions. Now, a lot of people don't like that and think, they're state champions. What did they have to do to get it? Maybe a better way to say it is, at the end of the day, we are the number 1 school out of these between here and Long Island in this private school rank, and Canisius competes for the large school version of that. I don't know, but anyway, to get back to what we were talking about, to not put that game at 6 o'clock, I don't get it, because the place is going to be mobbed for St. Joe's Canisius. It'll be an overflow crowd, should sell the Kessler Center right out. Once that game ends and all the intensity of that game wears off, imagine having to come and play a game after that. People are going to leave. It'll be more than 3/4 empty gym after the end of that, and it's just, I don't know why you would want it to go that way. It would be like playing your JV games after your varsity games. 100%. And so I would have done it different. I don't do that scheduling. So
too late to change now.
You're gonna like, even for me, if I wanted to stay and watch that game, well, someone just won the Manhattan Cup, so there's a lot of procedure after that. And then that means that because we got a game after, there's going to be a hurry to get him off the court and quick award the Manhattan Cup MVP and take, all right, get him off. We got another game to play in. We want to get out of here tonight. Well, let the winner of the Manhattan Cup have their moment. St. Joe's Canisius, one of those teams is winning a huge game. It's 1 and 2 in Western New York, and so that's my thought on it. Let them have their moment. Let us go back and do interviews without the pressure to get back and see another game, or, go out. go out and have a pop with a winning team if you're invited or whatever. However it goes, but then it's, oh, well, yeah, sorry I didn't stick around for your game, or yeah, we all left, we were tired, and it says that we don't care about a game that we would have been happy to care about if it's 6 o'clock. I think everyone says, well, I'll get there early and watch that first game too. Why not? I'm going to go for both, get a good seat. Doubleheader. There's my thoughts.
I like it. That's Monsignor Martin for you. We are going to return in a moment after a couple swigs of water. And you're going to hear some of our commercials, our advertisers like Empire Electric, Tony Pulvereni, who's been gracious enough to advertise on WNY Athletics and all through these Monsignor Martin playoffs that you're watching live for free on our platforms. Thank you very much. We'll be at Villa Maria for the girls tonight before we come back Saturday for doubleheader with the boys, Jake Fyock, Tom Prince on the call. And I'll tease you with this. You agreed to it, not on paper. There's no paperwork's been signed or whatever, but you said that you would do a post-game talk with Joe Kraus or whoever.
I'll provide a post-game interview with my thoughts on what I just watched.
Yes, similar to what you did with Keith McShay, the Buffalo News at the time many years ago.
Yes.
So Joe, if you're out there listening, Chad said yes, he will do it.
Man of my word, I'll do it. If I'm there, I'll do it.
Now we got to find someone to do it the other nights. So
which nights?
Pressure.
What am I going to miss?
Well,
what won't I be?
You're there every night.
Usually.
There's a chance you might go down to JCC. I would imagine you go down for C&D. We'll talk about that. Let's ponder that thought while we're listening to commercials. Okay. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching Western New York Athletics Center Court Weekly Edition. Chad and Frank.
Need an electrician? Empire Electric is your residential wiring specialist. New builds, service upgrades, lighting, generators, you name it, Empire does it with hundreds of 5-star reviews that speak for themselves. Call Empire Electric today for your free estimate.
Seek your next adventure. Make your next memory. Explore your next connection. What will you do next?
We're back Center Court Weekly. Center Court joined by Frank Wolf, or Frank Wolf joined by Center Court. Tim Gardner producing, as always. Empire Electric, Binghamton College, Damon College, Logistics Plus.
Binghamton? Did you say Binghamton?
I said Binghamton. Binghamton Plus, yep.
Paying attention.
Who did I miss, Tim? I missed somebody. I know I did.
We've reached out to other universities and colleges to get on board with us.
Yeah.
They're contemplating. I think they're all in a board meeting right now talking about it. Alfred is one of the colleges we're talking to.
Yep.
I guarantee right now they're in a boardroom talking about
Florida State.
Not yet. But they're probably
UC Santa Barbara. We've got some sponsorships.
They'll be watching this show right now, making their decision.
Josh Allen, if you're listening, we could use a Wyoming.
I know.
I hear you got some pull there.
Help
Why
out.
doesn't Josh Allen sponsor this show?
I'll ask him when I see him. Oh, that Josh Allen. Could be a while.
Yeah, I was talking about the Jaguars defense.
That guy can get to easily.
All right. Let's get back on track quickly before we lose listeners.
Yes. So at the end of the night at Buff State, we're going to spend 5 minutes or 5 questions with Chad, his thoughts on the 2 games, however many games have been there, and like Keith McShay used to do. I'll ask Keith if he's around. Maybe Keith.
Even if I fell asleep during a game, I'll tell you what I think of the result I heard happen. Now, the one night I won't be at Buff State is Friday. I'll be there. I'll be at Buff State every other night.
I'll have our guys down at Jamestown do the interview with you at the end of the night. I know you.
I won't be in Jamestown either on Friday night. I won't be anywhere. Why? Western New York loses my basketball coverage on Friday night this year. He wasn't listening.
I missed this part.
He called in. He straight called in.
Okay. Oh my gosh! Really?
My daughter's in the musical.
Oh, okay.
That new thing.
Okay.
I don't know what Tim just said, but that was funny.
Could have gone.
I'm taking my dog to the eye doctor. That's
Well,
what
I
he said.
tell you, that could have gone a lot of different ways than how it's supposed to go. I'm sure. Either way, that's cool for your daughter. What play are they doing at Newfane? What's the show?
Is it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or is it Willy Wonka? I don't know which they call it,
I don't know what
but
it's called.
she's Veruca Salt. Got a good role.
Oh,
I
never-
guess. I've never seen it, but
Me neither.
that's who she is. And I'm told that Veruca Salt is
No.
no.
Look dumb to me. We always-
Was it a movie that was on when I was a kid? I guess I missed it.
I mean,
I was watching a lot of Wizard of Oz when I was a kid. That was
I
good
put my
stuff.
head down. I didn't want to watch that. On with the show. Okay, so listen, we're talking brackets, AAA brackets here. Niagara Falls is going to be taking on Jamestown after they get by Lancaster. I think it was close at the half. I think Niagara Falls was up big at one point, but Lancaster turned things around maybe at the end of the first half, and they got it close before ultimately Niagara Falls pulling away. And,
They were my sleeper, Lancaster, in the AAA bracket. Sounds like Falls was snoozing in the first half.
there's 3 teams.
Someone's got to be a sleeper, right? Was I going to make Jamestown the sleeper? They're the one
The
seed,
1 seed. I know.
right? If anyone ever sleeps on Niagara Falls, that would be foolhardy. So I don't know if I could ever technically call Niagara Falls a sleeper.
So you're going to see Jamestown, Niagara Falls, and that's not till, a week. It's on the 8th, so.
Yep.
It's an early one. Is that a Saturday? Is that
Yeah,
the 8th? It's
Saturday at 3:30.
Yeah, so they're off a while.
That's an afternoon game. Take our big AAA, and put it in the middle of the afternoon. Awesome. Thank you for that. Could we ever get that back to Saturday night? The Saturday night finale. You bring in the band. That's how it's supposed to end. Niagara Falls Jamestown game. What are we doing? We changed the schedule all up. Now you don't know what the
can't-
schedule is going to be. It doesn't. It was changed so that we could rotate. But now this year you've got the B1s, I think, are playing on the same. Like you've got B2 and B1 playing the last 2 days, but then playing in the first 2 games on Saturday, which I'm fine with them playing the first 2 games on Saturday. But it used to, Buff State week used to start small, and I talked about that last week. So
Build it up.
build it up.
Build it up.
Why not? Right?
So
Put the double A's on Thursday. They play the last game on Saturday, or the triple A's now.
wanted to send a shout
Lots.
out
It's all going to change.
to the Niagara Falls high school basketball community. They going through a lot. They're going through a lot right now. Something happened, terrible happened there not long ago.
Yeah.
A lot-
There's a lot of that this year.
This was-
Unfortunately,
this
there's
was different.
Niagara Falls has dealt with a real tragedy. Ellicottville has. Alden has.
Yes.
Alden. There's 3 districts that very much thoughts
Last
and prayers.
The last
and
month has been
brutal.
brutal. Only way to say it. So we think about then. We reached out to the athletic director at Niagara Falls to see if they want to do something, but it's just so sensitive. And
That's why I've been quiet about when it gets to be that sensitive.
we're thinking about you guys. We're thinking about you guys for sure. How do you see this game going next Saturday? Do you want to talk about it next week, or do you want to lend a second into it now? We got a
Niagara Falls and Jamestown. Classic. It's a classic. It's even a classic or a classic contrast of styles is what it should be. Niagara Falls is a little deeper. I think of them as a little tougher, a little more physical. We'll see who's available for Niagara Falls. That you can see in the box score that there's a couple names that I didn't notice that have been in their box score this year. So that's really unfortunate because I don't think anyone's hurt. So come on, guys. But Jamestown is much more finesse, much more fast-paced, open court transition. Niagara Falls is not as much of that. They're a little more nasty. So I think it's an exciting game. I think it's a great crowd. I think Niagara Falls deserves to be considered the favorite in that game. Even though their record is nothing like Jamestown's, if you're looking at the schedules and coloring it all in as such, there's common opponents to look to and results that would suggest Falls deserves to be considered the favorite in this game. However, can't wait to watch it. I don't know who's going to win.
Well, you got to play the game.
Yes.
Moving on. A1.
I don't think it's a double-figure game. I
No.
think it's a battle.
Hopefully, that's what we want. Double A1. So right now you're looking at through the brackets.
The Braskets.
There was a playing game between Frontier and IPrep the other day. Frontier now gets through, and they will take on Orchard Park, Will North, Clarence, McKinley, West Seneca West, Lockport, and Hutch Tech. We've seen Will North Clarence this year.
They split in the regular season.
Yep. And that winner will take on the winner of the OP Frontier.
It's a very interesting game because Clarence has played pretty well lately, but it's at Williamsville North. North does pretty well on their home court. I like both teams. I like that to be a very competitive, good game to be at.
OP Frontier. Frankowiak.
By the way, I'll pick Clarence to win that game.
Okay.
If I've got to pick a winner,
We're on
I
the
want
same
to pick
page.
winners. Let's make some bets.
You want to
here.
pick a few winners? We're going to pick winners. Oh, the
Pick
OP
'em all.
Frontier. How does OP?
I'll take Orchard Park to win it. They've swept the regular season series. This is round 3. I think that Frontier is a better team than people would realize. I don't think that's any shoe-in. That it wouldn't be an absurd thing to see this 8 seed knock off the 1. It's an uncommon thing, but this is a decent. If I was hand seeding the bracket, Frontier would not be the 8 seed, but they are. Maybe they would. I'd have to look at the bracket. Oh, there's a bracket up there. No, they would not be the 8 seed. I can just tell you by a quick glance. I see teams ahead of them. I would move behind them. But if Orchard Park's healthy and at home, I would take Orchard Park to win that game.
So you're looking at a potential OP Clarence matchup in the semifinals. These games all get underway Friday, 7 o'clock at the respective home teams or the higher seeds, of course. McKinley, West Seneca West. It's been a while since West Seneca West has been considered a team or a program that can compete and get to Buff State. I see some improvement there, though, this year. I saw improvement this year. I don't know if they're ready to take on a McKinley team. I wouldn't go that far, but I see some improvement. It's been a while.
So West Seneca West went independent, so they played a much different schedule, which helps lend itself to some of that improvement. I think McKinley will win that game pretty handily.
Okay.
Very handily.
Too fast.
Yep. I think McKinley is just. I've seen a little McKinley this year. I haven't seen West Seneca West. I'm just looking at results, common opponents, but I think that there's no reason to think that McKinley doesn't handle their business just fine and get themselves back to Buff State again.
Does Hutch Tech have a shot against Lockport? You've seen Lockport a number of times this year.
No. I've seen both teams. Lockport will win that game. You're going to get a McKinley-Lockport semifinal at Buff State, and that should be a good game.
Very nice. Now the winners will play on March 3rd. I believe that's, what is that, Monday? Monday is the 3rd, so.
Monday the 3rd.
Monday 3rd, Buff State, first game 5 o'clock, so AA1 Monday, 5.
First game would be the winner of Orchard Park,
Yeah.
Frontier taking on
And then
North Clarence winner.
Saturday night, 8:30 is the AA1 champion. We're going to go right to the AA2. Star Point cruises through Niagara Wheatfield, 72-40, so they earn a date with Health Sciences. Are they firing on all cylinders? Is there some injuries there at Star Point that you know of?
Yeah, and I haven't gotten the update on how it turned out, but I know that
They're not 100%.
the big guy had to leave the game last night, so I would be very optimistic, much more optimistic for Star Point's chances with him at health. Star Point played a game against Timon this year at the Classic, and they competed pretty well, and they didn't have the services of Jack Kemp in that game. So it's not like they're completely over their head. Like I've said this year, it's not the best health sciences team I've seen, but it's a good health sciences team. I'll take health to win that game. It's a very interesting game if Jack was healthy for that. I don't know what the status of that is.
NT 4 taking on Sweet Home 5. these two schools always have. It doesn't matter what they're playing: baseball, football. There's a lot of bad blood there. These two teams get at it. These two schools get at it whenever they match up. How do you like this one?
Up and down. I think that game is up and down. I think you'll see a lot of open court action in that one. I think that on paper it's a very competitive game. I could see the result and the style of play in the game making that a 7 to 8 point game in one of the team's favors. I will pick Sweet Home to come out of there as the winner, but I think that's a game worth keeping an eye on. It would be a fun game to be at.
The game you will be at Friday night is number 2 Ken West playing host to Williamsville East.
Yes.
It's a 2-7 matchup. It'll be seen on NFHS Network, but it's the Center Court game of the week. You and Ryan Mountain. Why'd you pick this game?
Because when I looked at all of the games, that was the one that had the most juice on it. That was the one with
See going either way.
yeah, I just watched Ken West last week in the NFL championship game. Then on Friday night I swung into Will North and watched Will East come in and light up the, Krill Sorkin 32-point first half. That was amazing. So I've seen Will East when they look really good. I've seen Will East when they look really bad. And I've seen the same from Ken West.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes this so exciting, is that both teams at their best are pretty good teams. They are bubble top 10 teams, or top 10 teams if they were as consistent as them at their top of their game. They would be top 10 teams. They're a little inconsistent in their results. I think when you put the two of them on the court together, it could be a 20-point game. It could come down to the final shot. It's just pretty fascinating, and I think out of all the games on Friday night, that's the one that I think, that's where I want to be.
That's where you're going to be. Okay. Buffalo Culinary. They got a few different schools, I think, merged into this program. 3 seed welcoming Hamburg at 10.
I will take the Bulldogs from Hamburg to win that game.
You said that awfully quick. You didn't pick who did you pick a Ken West Will East winner? No.
I'll take Williamsville East to win it. Because
experience?
Experience, I think that for me, it's I'm riding the hot hand. Like I said, I just watched both teams play last week. Ken West lost a tough one to Grand Island. Will East set Hopkins Road on fire, and they're going to try and do that in Kenmore on Friday night. We'll find out. They're feeling real good about themselves.
So
the reason I'm quick to say Hamburg, I think, beats Buffalo Culinary is because Hamburg is a team with a couple decent wins. Hamburg's a team that defeated Williamsville East this year, for example. So they're capable of that. Buffalo Culinary's most recent result is a 20-point loss to Newfane. And Newfane is probably at the bottom of the Niagara Orleans League this year, if I'm looking at the standings. So they're in the bottom portion of the NO, and that's a team that's grabbing a 20-point win over Culinary. Wasn't at the game, but I think that something I don't necessarily understand. Buffalo Culinary they're a AA school, but they played in the Yale Cup Division III. So they're playing down in the lowest of the divisions with a I don't know how they classify in their subdivisions within that, but anytime you're asking me this stuff and I'm making predictions, it's either going to be that I saw these teams play and it's a vibe, or I'm studying box scores and I'm looking at common opponents and saying, pragmatically speaking, logic's going to tell me if this team just lost here and this team was capable of beating them, that's how I would hedge my bet.
Okay, so you got in AA2, you got Health Sciences, Sweet Home, Will East, Hamburg. Now, the Health Science, if Health Science and Sweet Home, whoever moves on to the semifinals, that's an 8 p.m. game Monday night at Buff State. The other bracket involving Ken West, Will East, Buff Culinary, and Hamburg, they would be on Tuesday at 5 p.m. at Buff State. So the semifinals, Buff State, Monday and Tuesday for A2. Now, moving on. A1, sectional championships. Lakeshore beats Ken Maurice last night 70-60. Pulling for my boy Dan Hannon. Couldn't get it done at Lakeshore last night. Hopefully they get that program moving and grooving, get back into these sectional games, playoffs. I love what Danny Hannon does at Ken Maurice, and I'm pulling for those guys over there.
Yeah.
Nothing against Lakeshore, just I know Danny well.
You know Danny well. You're a Kenmore guy at heart. And
Yes. Iroquois doubles up on West Seneca East, 80-40, so they have a date with Amherst, a game that will be on WBFO Friday night, and WNO Athletics will be there helping out them get that broadcast off. South Park winners over CSAT 58-51, so they get Will South interesting. They played a football playoff game earlier this year, South Park and Will South, and I think South Park won, so I know they did. So Will South, they couldn't get it done on the football field. Maybe they get it done on the hard court. What do you think about that 3-6 matchup? Will South, and that's Friday 7 p.m. as well.
I'll take Williamsville South to punch their ticket.
To Buff State.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of South this year.
I've seen enough to believe that they are absolutely a Buff State team.
Yeah, I like them. Don't know much about the South Park team.
South Park's good. South Park is they're a team that's they're coached well. They play hard. It's a good group of kids. They picked up a nice win last night. I think that they're a little outmatched by Williamsville South. Williamsville South they've got 3 very good basketball players and 2 more very good basketball players within a starting lineup. You know, it's they've got 3 ball handler, shooter, guard types. They've got a couple big men. They're well put together, as I like to say about certain teams. They are well put together. So I'll take Williamsville South to win that.
Real quick correction. The WBFO game is Cheektowaga Pioneer at Cheektowaga. It is not Amherst Iroquois. So my apologies. It was supposed to be Amherst, but for whatever reason they switched it to Cheektowaga Pioneer.
Really messed that one up.
It did. A lot of more.
Sorry, Amherst. Sorry, Iroquois.
Sorry, Iroquois. I would love to see Kleitz one more time this season. Or
We just
more.
talk about Justice Kleitz for a second.
Go for it.
It's just incredible to me that this kid dislocates his elbow, his shooting elbow, lefty, rehabilitates, finally gets cleared to come back and play, but maybe the elbow's not ready to, and so he spends his whole time while rehabilitating learning how to shoot right-handed. His first game back, he scores 30 points shooting right-handed. That is an incredible, incredible story. I mean, tip your cap to that kid. What a competitor he is.
To me, is one of the most underrated athletes in Western New York.
Yes. 2-sport athlete.
Yes.
Outstanding 2-sport athlete.
Yes. Got a future somewhere.
Yeah.
I've been told he's the best quarterback we have in Western New York by a number of high school coaches. He is the best quarterback we have in Western New York. You guys don't do enough for that kid. So,
Well,
we may have Justice Kleitz overload next fall. My apologies.
if you've got neutral people telling you that, then it's something to listen to, right?
Coaches
But if it's someone with a vested interest, it's you temper it. But when collective input says, I don't think enough people are giving Justice Kleitz credit,
do they
you've got to hear
enough
that.
to take down number 2 Amherst on Friday? That's the question.
I doubt it. It's a pretty good Amherst team, but they will. I mean, it's not just Justice Kleitz. His dad is the coach, Todd. Todd is a very good basketball coach. And when you watch Iroquois basketball, they are so well drilled in how that ball moves. They play their tails off every game. Like, there is no wasted. If there's a wasted possession, he's losing his mind. You know, the ball just zips and zips and zips. Everything is done with a purpose. They defend, they switch defense, they'll do whatever they need to do. So I think, similar to what I was saying about South Park, Williamsville South, I just believe that Amherst collectively has a little more to work with, and they haven't had, if your star player is shooting right-handed, as great of a story as that is, I'm sure he would rather have never had the injury and just be able to stroke it with his left, and so
Amherst is in for a dogfight.
Yes, yeah. Iroquois will bring a dogfight. I believe Todd and Chris are pretty good friends, so it's that would be that's when all these games are on the same night. You wish you could stagger them. I would like to sit there and enjoy that game.
Maybe there's a huddle camera.
There are. It's just find the time to watch all these streams.
Grand Island Lakeshore. Grand Island comes in as a 1 seed. They had a fantastic season, 1 loss. Strength of schedule. People will ask you about that, but at the end of the day, they're 19-1, top seed heading into this play.
It's been a pretty good Lakeshore team this year.
On Lakeshore 9-12.
They beat Ken East. It's the problem is it's an outstanding Grand Island team. One I would put right there on the same level as a Williamsville South and an Amherst. Lakeshore has a recent loss to Eden. I think Grand Island would defeat Eden. I think Grand Island is a clear favorite in that basketball game, and so that's who I will pick to win it. And when I do my sectional preview, I give predictions, and I also do a season preview. So I changed my prediction from the start of the year. I picked the Amherst to win Class A2, and if you're looking at my local rankings, I have Grand Island ranked ahead of them. I have Will South ahead of them. They're all in the same bracket, and then I pick Amherst to win. And I'm not trying to have it multiple ways. I think if you're looking at rankings in this season, the teams deserve to sit where they sit, but something tells me that get us to Buff State. Amherst is mad they lost last year. They're motivated, maybe not mad, but motivated. They lost the rematch at Williamsville South recently. That was such a battle. It could go either way. The winner of that game could lose to Grand Island. It's a very fascinating Class A1 bracket. Can't wait for it.
So let's go through.
Except I'm not going to see it.
Let's go through your predictions.
That's my Friday night that I'm missing is that final. So.
You like Grand Island over Lakeshore?
I do. I said that.
Cheektowaga Pioneer.
Ooh. I'm going to pick. That's such a tough one to pick.
Dive into it.
Well, they split in the regular season. Cheektowaga has not played great to end the season. Pioneer was playing very good basketball at the end of the season. Then they lost to Olean, which is not a bad loss. It's a good game that they didn't win. Panama came up and got Cheektowaga. Then the following night, Cheektowaga played back-to-back, and they let a game against Williamsville South get away from them a little bit right off the bat, and Williamsville South built up a substantial lead in that game. And so just you've got two teams that split. They play in the same league. They played in the same league now. They split last year in league along with Will South. Will South moved up, so now it's just Cheektowaga and Pioneer. Cheektowaga won the league, but they split the regular season result. Cheektowaga has a standout in Shanklin. Pioneer has a standout in Platt. Great game. Tough. It's a coin flip. You can say I'll take Cheektowaga because they're at home. You could say I'll take Pioneer because they're Pioneer. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win.
The rumor mill is that Pioneer has been playing as a team down the stretch. That they need to find their whatever fire they were playing with collectively earlier in the year. They need to find that quickly.
I would agree.
And if they do, they can make a serious run. They got a big mountain in front of them in Cheektowaga. But if they can figure it out and get back on the same page, this could be a dangerous, dangerous team.
So do I have to make a pick?
Yeah, of course.
I'll take my sleeper. I made Pioneer the sleeper. I think they'll sleep their way to Buff State.
Okay. So all those
Gotta be
games
wrong
are
about something.
Friday night. You didn't pick Amherst Iroquois. You were hinting at Amherst, I think, but I don't think you officially.
I'll pick Amherst.
Okay, and then you took South over Park.
Yep.
Okay, so these games, someone's calling me on a private number. I can't answer because I'm on a show. I should put them on air, but I won't embarrass them. These games would all be on Tuesday. You'd start off with that Ken West or whoever will play at 5 o'clock. And then you've got the winner of Grand Island. Lakeshore will take on the winner of Cheektowaga Pioneer. That's 6:30 Buff State Tuesday, followed by The winner of Amherst Iroquois taking on Will South Park. That's a 8 o'clock game Tuesday on the 4th.
Could be a battle on Main Street.
We've had, what,
Or
3 or
three.
4 of those this year? So
Battle for Grand Street.
championship game is on Friday the 7th, 7:45 at Buff State. 7:45 will be the A1 sectional championship. We're moving on to A2. And
You got to fly, huh? Look at what time it is already.
yeah, we're moving.
3 hours. All right.
So, City Honors gets by Tonawanda by 20. They fall into the bracket now of taking on Albion. East Aurora got by Burgard 62-55. They'll take on Depew. Springville falls to Lackawanna. Lackawanna will now play Maryvale. Newport got by Dunkirk 71-62 last night. Threes were raining for Newport in that third quarter. And they'll take on Olean. They're going to go down there. Now, those games are all, like everything else, Friday night, the 28th. Depew East Aurora, that's in Depew. Depew, the top seed. Depew East Aurora. That could be a good game.
That's a great game. Look at the regular season results on Depew East Aurora. 2 very close games. I think game 3 goes the same way. Close game. Depew, division winner, Depew at home. I'll pick Depew, but won't surprise me if East Aurora knocks them off as a 1 seed. Wouldn't be the first time that happened. East Aurora has gone in as an 8 seed before and beat Depew.
Lot to see.
Yeah.
Lot to see. Buff Sciences taking on Albion. I don't know what to make of this matchup.
Great game. And one like
Why?
sleeper picks or whatever. I look at my top whatever quarterfinals in my sectional preview, and what I realized I did, and I'll just own this, I missed the A2 bracket. I didn't, or the A2 bracket. I didn't have any games in there, and it's just because I didn't see it, because we'll talk about it in a minute, but Newport's at Olean. That's a good game. But this Buffalo Science Albion game, great game. And I think that's one I wish I was watching. You know, I looked at that game this morning. I was like, maybe that's where I should have gone. I feel like that's like that sneaky, cool game.
I don't know anything about these teams.
Okay. I guess this is where I come in to tell you
Thank you.
what little I know about them. I got to watch a little Buffalo Sciences this year. It's the best Buffalo Sciences team in the history of Buffalo Sciences.
Is this their
for
first
sure.
season?
No. They're talented. They've got big guy. They've got Jaleel Flowers is a nice
I didn't even know
guard
they had
for
a
them.
gym there. I'm being
There
serious.
is. It's outside of the science lab.
Okay.
Yeah, outside the science lab. Well, it's inside, but just outside of the science lab. Yes, of course. You won't if you get to the Beaker station. You've gone too far. Go back. You're inside the science lab at that point. It's outside the science lab. So Albion, I have not seen, but looking at Albion's results this year, looking at where Albion finished in the Niagara Orleans League, which turned out to be a pretty competitive league this year, a nice league. Put it this way, Akron is 19-1. Who beat Akron? Albion. That's how good Albion is. Buffalo Sciences. You said you watched Newport raining in threes last night. Buffalo Sciences went and played a competitive game at Newport this season. I just think that's a good game.
Okay. They're at Medaille now. Buff Sciences, right? They're the school that took over Medaille.
Yes.
So you got a nice gym there.
Yes.
Should bring in some athletes.
Nice campus there.
They got a beautiful. They got one of the best campuses in Western New York.
Greatest high school in Western New York. Like, look at this place.
I never even heard of them
We've
until
got
this.
dorms.
I made a wrong turn. I'm looking at Buffalo Sciences. Maryvale Lackawanna, interesting game.
Yeah, that is. Lackawanna is playing pretty good basketball from where the season started for them. Maryvale is interesting. That's another game that's tough to pick, I think. They're not in the same league? No, they're not. ECIC 3, ECIC 4. I'll take Lackawanna to sneak into this. Show back up at Buff
Wow.
State again.
Wow. Chad's taking the 10 over the 2.
Yep. I'm going 10 over 2.
All right.
Got to gamble somewhere.
You got Depew and Buff Sciences, and now you're coming through with Lackawanna. All right, over Maryvale. And the brand new gym. That's what they're going to christen that new gym like that?
Maybe they won't. Maybe the Flyers will We were the 2 seed, dude. Are you nuts?
Yeah, that gym is fantastic. We'll be streaming some games over there next week as well. Olean welcomes Newport. Olean's played well all year. They got a new kid in there from God knows where, doing very well for them. They obviously coached well.
The distance from Youngstown, New York, to Olean, New York.
Olean, I'm told, left right after the Dunkirk game. They're going to get there just before tip-off.
Newport, yeah, Newport. They're already en route. They're about a quarter of the way there. It's going to be a long drive for Newport, and they're going to play a team that has the advantage in size. They have guards.
And that's a hell of a place to play.
It's a hell of a place to play. It's a team that has been very seasoned all season against the competition they face. Really, so has Newport. I've seen both teams a couple times this year. I think Olean's going to win that game.
Let me remind me to call Carson
It's
Hayek.
not a given.
Carson Hayek's our guy down there at St. Bonaventure that's supposed to be covering some Olean, so remind me to call him later.
Okay. I will.
These teams all go Friday night when they start, but you'll see them at Buff State on March the 5th.
After this break is coming the Bees, huh?
6:30 and 8 o'clock. So why don't we go take a quick break?
We're going to talk
We got
B,
through our
C.
triple A's. We got
D.
through our A's. Now we're
Get
going to
outta
go on to the B, C's, and D's. You're watching Center Court Weekly with Frank and Chad on Western New York Athletics. Buffalo Breathe Now, Western New York's newest respiratory urgent care and walk-in clinic, located at 6161 Transit Road in East Amherst, New York. Open 7 days a week. Visit buffalobreathenow.com or call 716-320-0180. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, buffalobreathenow.com.
Seek your next adventure. Make your next memory. Explore your next connection. What will you do next?
Need an electrician? Empire Electric is your residential wiring specialist. New builds, service upgrades, lighting, generators, you name it, Empire does it with hundreds of 5-star reviews that speak for themselves. Call Empire Electric today for your free estimate.
Hey, welcome back to Center Court Weekly with Frank and the ghost of Chad. Hey, there I am. Chad had to step away for a moment, but he's coming back in with a passion for high school basketball like no other. Chad, I'm glad you can grace us with your presence for the next segment because I was.
You know what? I
What?
just went out and grabbed a little more of that passion you were just describing. It's back.
Class B1, baby. B1. East Community, they're going at it on the 27th against Southwestern.
Yeah, that's tonight. Tonight's the
We
27th.
better start moving.
Woo!
And also, though, we got Bennett and Newfane.
Yes.
That's at Bennett High School. So that's a couple of playing games to round out the B1 sectional bracket. Akron will play the winner of East Community and Southwestern. Also inside that bracket is Alden and Medina. And then Olmsted will be waiting for the winner of Bennett Newfane. Underneath that is Middle Early College taking on Fredonia. Man, I hate to see Middle Early and Fredonia play a game that quick. You know what I
Or
mean?
Buff State.
Yeah.
There's some juicy stuff going on. I mean,
That's-
look at Class B2, though. That was my favorite
Good
bracket
idea.
this year. Someone's got to get there. Who do you want to disqualify from Buff State? There's good teams all throughout that bracket.
Yeah, I was hoping. That's a hell of a draw, though, for Fredonia. Tough for Middle Early College, too. It's a tough draw right there.
Depends. I guess it depends who you're talking to. I agree with you. I think it's a very tough draw for Fredonia. Some people are late to the party on Middle College.
No.
We'll see.
They know how to get to Buff State,
They're pretty good this year.
and they're good. Well coached. But they got a long way to go still. A long way to go.
So is Fredonia. It's a good game.
Yes. So that's Saturday
Let's talk
noon.
about it. Yeah.
I will not be able to get there. I will not be able to get to that one. I'd love to get there. So East Community and Southwestern, they got to play into face Big Bad Akron. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus, the winner could be the loser there.
Yeah.
Who wants to go
So the
play Akron?
winner will be the loser there once they get to Akron. That's my prediction.
God bless.
Really
them.
like that Akron team this
So
year.
they shouldn't get on the bus.
No, you got to get on the bus.
Got to
You
play the
kidding me?
game.
Of
You gotta
course.
play the game.
Yeah, what are you going to be, one of those people? You going to opt out after you didn't opt out? You should be opting out in the first place. We forgot to opt out, but we're going to opt out now.
Oh, can you imagine you're halfway there and you just get this wild hair and we're opting out.
Can you imagine
Opting
having
out?
your coach tell you, "Oh, we're not going to go to the sectionals this." Well, why, coach? Well, I don't get paid for playoffs or whatever their reason is. I mean, I wrote it, but unless you don't have enough players to go play that game, go play that game.
What are you doing?
I don't know what you're doing.
You're taking an opportunity away from your kids.
You are, but everybody sure talks a good game about opportunities for kids, and we need more of this or that.
Mhm.
There's the opportunity, you know.
Here's a
And
game that
please
really
spare
matters.
me about getting paid for the postseason. Then don't coach basketball.
Don't
No?
even get up in the morning. Stay in bed.
It gets me fired up. It does. I think we collectively come in. I as a coach, I am asking a lot of you guys all season. I need you to be at practice when I ask you to be there. I need you to work hard, execute. I'm going to be hard on you at times. I'm going to ask you to dress this way on game days. There's so much that goes into it, and these kids come and do it. Another angle I thought about with all this is, let's say like we've gotten to a place in some cases where a kid gets tossed out of practice or a kid misses whatever, and coach has to, and then parents call the school and say, "Coach did XYZ to my son, and that's not fair, and that's not okay." And so then administration walks in and says to coach, "So we're going to have a meeting because mom called," and then they sit down, and at the end of the day, to appease mom or whatever, we let the kid back into play, and the coach isn't allowed to execute a consequence or to teach a lesson that maybe needed to be taught, right? So you might have situations where you get overridden in that way. All right, no, we have to give them the opportunity because, you're taking, it's not okay that you're taking it away because mom doesn't like it or dad or whatever. But it's okay to take the opportunity away because, well, you guys only won 2 games this year and you don't feel like going and getting your. It's not even like they got to go play the 1 seeds, right?
No.
So we're the 16 seed,
Yes.
and we didn't have a very good year. Okay, so go play the 9 seed. That's what the first round. So you know what I'm trying to say, what I'm mumbling through, and maybe at some point we have to pare everything down, and you don't even get the opportunity to make the postseason, which I would be fine with that. I don't think everyone needs to make the postseason anyway, but that's how it's set up. So take every ounce of that opportunity and play that game.
Yeah. You never know.
Telling you what, if I played on a lousy team, which I did plenty of times growing up, I didn't want to not play. I didn't want to not, last game of my football season one year, we lost 56-0. I knew we were going to get pounded. It was what it was.
Still went and played?
Yeah, I played hard. Tried to score. Obviously, I didn't.
Well, I mean, what if you draw the number 1 seed and the number 1 seed just happens to have 2 players suspended? They can't play or they're injured.
It's happened.
Of course. You just don't know.
Sometimes it's just the number 1 seed got clipped.
The bottom line here,
They weren't all that day.
teams that opt out to not go to the postseason,
Better have a good reason.
to me, it's just a bad look.
Yes. That's why we just gave all that passion. Tim's
Yeah.
crossing his arms like, what in the world are we doing? You still got 3 classes to get through. All right, speed round.
You got Akron going now. Alden Medina. That's an interesting match.
It's a very interesting matchup.
I know they're under 500, but
Yeah, that's a good basketball game. Alden just had a competitive game with Akron. Akron's had competitive games with Medina. I have not watched Alden live this year. I have watched Medina live. Medina is got some young talent. They've got some size. They've got some really nice shooters. They can be undisciplined at times, but a good version of Medina is a pretty tough team, and they're going to be even better next year. That's a great game. I'll take Alden to win that game because they're at home and because I think circumstances at Alden right now, I think those kids are really going to be motivated. And, coach at Medina, I consider a friend, is Justin Morgan, somebody who I've known since I was doing. He was a kid at Medina when I was doing this, and that's how I got to know him, and now he's a coach, and there's a lot of those examples now. But I'm going to say that I would almost be happy for Alden to see them get to Buff State, knowing everything they've dealt with over there.
Bennett Newfane will take on the winner of Olmsted. First of all, who do you like coming out of that game?
I like that you didn't include Newfane there. You just said who's winning between Bennett and Olmsted.
Oh, no. I did. Did you hear me say Newfane? I think Newfane's got a shot here.
Tim didn't hear anything either.
So Olmsted.
We recorded it. If
Big
I'm
what I
wrong,
said
if I've
was-
called you out unjustly,
Listen to replay.
I'm just trying to be funny anyway because I think Bennett will beat Newfane. But
I think Newfane will be Bennett. So there.
oh, I like it. Well played, Wolf. I'll take Olmsted, even though Olmsted's in a bit of a
Olmsted.
late season tailspin. I don't know what's up with the Owls. Maybe a little inside info helped me understand a little more about it, but
Okay.
when I've seen Olmsted was a pretty good team. I'll take them to get past Bennett, but Bennett's no slouch. They're really not.
I'm going to go on a limb and say Newfane will be playing at Buff State.
Wolf coming strong. Hey, they're there every year, right?
Sleeper.
That would be a great sleeper. They're there every year. They've improved as the season has gone on, to be certain.
Here's the one, though.
They'd be even better if they had Braden Seitz, but Braden Seitz got injured at the beginning of the year and had to miss the season, and that's unfortunate. He would have been a nice junior at Newfane.
Yeah. Here's the one, though. Everyone wants to talk about middle early college taking on Fredonia. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are that is a spirited, competitive game. I think Fredonia is a team that will come and keep that game very close all the way through. Middle College is a team that has played some pretty decent competition this year and fared well against the decent competition they've had. They've had some up and down results, but not always had everyone together. I think Middle College, with all the pieces there together, is a more talented team than Fredonia. Fredonia is not going to give you an inch, and Fredonia plays everybody good. So that is truly a pick'em game, and it's truly a great quarterfinal to watch.
Fredonia definitely raises their level of play.
Yeah.
They're facing a team that's better than them. They seem to rise to the occasion. When they play teams that aren't as good as them, they seem to play down to their competition. At least that's my observation.
Human
year?
nature of complacency, which we all do. I did it last night at the Manhattan Cup semis. I'm all prepared, and then all of a sudden the game's about to start, and I'm like, well, get going here. What are you doing? You're gabbing with everybody.
And then Fredonia, I think they were supposed to play Cleve Hill, who opted out. That's why Fredonia's walking right into this round, the quarterfinals here. So do you want to pick a winner? You should.
Let's come back. I'll save it. I don't know yet.
Okay. So let's go into the season. Remind
Well,
me.
we jumped right over MST and
of a
Allegheny
pup.
Limestone,
Me
and
too.
sorry about your puppy. So,
JFK Faulkner going at it tonight at JFK. They play in to face number 1 top-seeded former section champion Salamanca.
I'll take Falconer to win at JFK tonight, and then I will take Salamanca to beat Falconer at home in the rematch of a game they lost on a Saturday night at 7 p.m., a game I'm not able to see because there's some Odyssey of the Mind thing going on at the school in the afternoon that had to push the game to the evening, and I will be at the Manhattan Cup final that night, and I'm banging my fists on the table because I wanted to watch both of those games, and now I'll watch one of those games.
Okay.
I'll see the stream eventually.
Wilson.
Did I do that, Tim? Pounding my fists on the wall? Oh, good. Made the
So
screen
Wilson
go goofy.
comes a 4 seed. They play great all year. They're going to take on the winner of Riverside and Roy Hart. They go at it tonight, 7 o'clock.
Yeah. So I think regardless of who emerges between Riverside and Roy Hart, and I think that is a very interesting game. That's tonight?
Isn't it?
Maybe that's where I should be going.
Did I read the wrong slide?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, 7
You are-
o'clock.
You know what you're talking about.
Well, it can't be tomorrow.
The winner is going to go to Wilson and fall at Wilson. I like this Wilson team. I think it's time for the Lakemen to make the return to Buff State.
Isn't that a bit of a rivalry, though, Royhart and Wilson to some degree?
They're just in the same league for years, so the rivalry naturally develops when they have to
know
play
each
each other twice
Royhart,
forever. Yes.
If they get through Riverside, wouldn't have much of a chance against Wilson, you're saying?
They got a chance. I just think Wilson has. There's a
Bit-
body of work all year that shows they are to be considered the favorite against Royhart this year, and I would back that up and pick them to win.
Allegheny Limestone and Silver Creek.
Allegheny Limestone should beat Silver Creek, especially on their home court tonight. Allegheny is playing pretty well. They're just coming off a win over Randolph down the regular season.
It's a rough drive for Silver Creek. From Silver Creek to Allegheny Limestone, it's not a pretty drive.
Well, that's gravy after what I'm doing from where I live. I would love to be leaving from Silver Creek to get to Limestone. There'd probably be a lot more Limestone games. Yeah, I'll take Allegheny Limestone to win that, and I'm going to take them to go and win an MST as well.
Are you really?
Yep, I think that Allegheny Limestone walks into Buff State as the 6th seed this year.
We've seen him there before.
Yeah, I don't want to play him if I'm anybody.
Well coached.
Very well coached.
Tough. Battle tested.
And they've got players. I've been able to watch a little Allegheny Limestone now. Carson Kwiatkowski, the school's all-time leading scorer. He's a real player. They've got a freshman that can just shoot it. I think he's number 35. They've got another guard who is he can shoot. He's very intelligent. He keeps the game. It's tough to get sped up. Just they got a little size inside with Forrest. I like Allegheny Limestone. They're going to be a tough out in B2.
Okay. Tapestry, Portville go at it tonight for the right to play Eden, who's come on strong lately, too.
Tapestry, Portville. I like Tapestry at home. Another game that could be interesting to go and watch. Portville, I think, what are they, 3 or 4 win team this year. I think Tapestry will do okay in that, come out, and then probably fall again to Eden.
Again.
I believe Eden goes to Buff State this year.
They'll make of the class
Again.
of B2.
Well, they're the number 1 seed, and they won that division that they're in, the league AA1 West. That includes finishing ahead of Olean, Fredonia, Allegheny Limestone. So even with the losses, even with the late season swoon that they've experienced with the losses to Falconer and Dunkirk, they are the class of that league.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caesar.
But it's so competitive that it's no sure thing that they
Want to
win.
go back to Fredonia, middle early, or do you want to keep thinking about that?
I'll keep thinking about it.
Wow.
I might have to go watch it. I keep thinking about it. I wasn't sure I was going on Saturday, and I'm almost talking myself into that game just thinking about how good that game could be. It's that or MST and Allegheny Limestone. It's going to be one of those two for me on Saturday.
Definitely can't do both.
They both start at noon. I mean, you know what I would love is if they said we're going to play one at 12, one at 2, and then Southern Tier team, you're coming up, so when your game ends, and hey, if you played Middle College game first, you could say, all right, Middle College, slide over to MST and support this other Yale Cup team, and okay, now that this game's over, let's bus over and watch, we're all up here. But then I was thinking about this concept, and I thought, well, where that doesn't work or really make any sense is that, let's say Fredonia hops on the bus and drives up and drops one to Middle College. As much as they want to go support Glenn Anderson and the Gators, their fellow, are they going to want to go do anything after a playoff loss, or they want to say, put us back on the bus, give us some pizza, and get us out of here? So.
Global Concepts gets through Maritime. They will now face Chautauqua Lake. That's tonight, 7 o'clock down there at Chautauqua Lake.
Good game.
Brockton doubles up +1 over Cat Little Valley. They now take on Frewsburg at Frewsburg tonight. North Collins gets by Cass Valley. They take on Gowanda. Gowanda's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Tough team.
They're not a bad team. They compete in that league with Randolph, which is tough competition. But
and what else do we got here? Barker loses to Maple Grove.
Yeah, Maple Grove looked pretty good. There's a game tonight that's a good one that if I wasn't doing this show, I need to go back home. I need to go get a couple things and get back to my house. I really wanted to get down to Ellicottville tonight and watch Maple Grove play them. I think that's a great game. I think that is your best game if you had to pick one game to say what could come down to the end tonight and be a really compelling matchup. I think Maple Grove at Ellicottville is a place to be in WNY tonight.
Let's start
But I can't get there.
that lower end of the bracket, Franklinville, which was an interesting team this year because they raced out to such a great start, and people were starting to question this team or question what they originally thought about this team. Maybe in the year, we're going to find out how good they are. They'll take on the winner of Ellicottville, Maple Grove. Do you like that playing game over Franklinville, or do you like Franklinville to make it to JCC?
Love that game. That's a great game. Ellicottville and Franklinville. They played twice this year. Franklinville got them both times. I think one was won on a final shot or in the final minute. So anytime you put the Vills on the court together, it's going to be something.
Football school. And the two of them combined for a football program.
Yeah. So they know each other pretty
Go
well.
on to North Collins. Whoever comes out of that game tonight will take on Holland.
Gowanda will come out of that game and take on Holland, and then I believe the Dutchmen will march on to JCC. And it would be marching on because at the time that they play Gowanda, it would be March 1st, so it's officially marching on. You can't really say someone's marching on February 28th.
Are all these games at noon? The first?
Yeah, everything's at noon except for Salamanca at 7 o'clock. I think it's just for... I don't know. I have all sorts of pipe dreams, but they're really just pipe dreams when you stop and analyze how would you make it work. You could make it work, but you're going to have a single venue. You're going to say, I want these teams to give up their home game, or we're going to have a place to go and watch 4 really good quarterfinals in one day, and then who decides what the good quarterfinals are to watch and who wants it to go that way. So at the end of the day, I think it's easiest to just put a blanket statement on it and say the host team or the higher seed's the host team. It's going to be a noon game. These classifications play on this day. The others do on that. I mean, I think a lot of that is organized by Larry Jones, and he does a good job putting the puzzle together.
Westfield will welcome in Frewsburg Brockton, and Westfield should advance to JCC. Your thoughts?
Yes. I agree. To JCC they go.
Randolph.
Randolph.
The winner of Chautauqua Lake Global Concepts.
Take Randolph.
March their way to JCC.
Yeah. All right, we got. You're gonna get a Randolph Westfield semifinal.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Is that the de facto Class C championship?
It should be, but Ellicottville, Franklinville winner gets there. They play the winner of Holland and Gowanda.
North Collins.
I believe that, yes, Westfield or Randolph should be viewed as the better team than any of them. There are some results this year when you're looking at stuff that say Holland would be that team that could, if someone's going to surprise one of those two that wins and, hoist them an imaginary championship plaque on a Tuesday night, and then Holland sits back and watches and goes, you don't think we have a chance? But I will take a Randolph Westfield semifinal for sure, and I'll go with a Holland. Give me a Holland Ellicottville semifinal opposite that.
Okay. Sentimental win for Ellicottville.
Could be. Third time's a charm, maybe. They got to get by Maple Grove first, though. Liam Colburn and crew.
Tough matchup either way. Clymer is taking on Sherman tonight. Normally these teams are together on the football field. They go at it tonight. Did they split in the regular season?
I believe they did.
Okay.
So Sherman won the more recent meeting. The only two teams that Sherman has lost to since sometime in January, Westfield and Randolph. They are the sleepers of the Class D bracket.
Sherman. So
There's 5 teams in the bracket. Someone's got to be sleepy.
They or Clymer will have to take on Panama.
Yeah. And then the road ends there because no one's touching Panama in Class D.
Forestville had a nice season. They take on Pine Valley, but that'll.
That should be a good game.
You like Panama and D.
I do. I
You like
do.
that book?
Even if that game's not played next week, I'll just repeat it and say, "Yep, Panama's going to win."
Get down to
Class D.
JCC for the C&D championship, you would imagine.
No, we've discussed it.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
be at a
you got-
play. Musical.
Yes, something with.
Either way, though, I wouldn't have been going to JCC this year because the finals at JCC wouldn't pull me down there as much as the finals that would be played at Buff State the same night would be screaming my name.
Gotcha.
You likely got Grand Island taking on a Williamsville South Amherst winner, unless Pioneer or Cheektowaga was able to clip Grand Island. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you've got 3 really good teams and A1. I would love to see how that ends live. It's going to be a stream. The game before it, I think, would be Olean taking on, who knows, Albion, Buffalo Sciences. So, worth watching.
We can either take a commercial break and come back for your final analysis prediction of the Fredonia Middle Early.
I think the viewers would like me to just put it to bed now. I think they want to get out of here. They don't want to watch more 60 seconds more of commercials. They're like, we have been ripping through the stream. It keeps buffering, just trying to get to the end where you talk about us.
My son's got a basketball game Monday at 6 p.m. Great. I can't make it to Buff State Monday. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll be there Tuesday.
Hope I'll still be able to talk with Joe Krause.
Yeah, we'll set that up.
All right, perfect.
You'll be good. So did you pick a winner Middle Early College in
Yeah.
Fredonia? Who'd
You were
pick?
looking at your phone. I'm not going to repeat it.
You put it on an instant replay?
Oh,
Kidding,
Frank,
I'm kidding.
I don't know.
I love doing the show with you.
Give me the Hillbillies. I'll take the Hillbillies. I don't think I was picking that walking in today. I think I talked myself into it, going through it. I don't know.
You do that.
You said something that I think got in my head. You said how Fredonia rises to the level of their competition.
They do.
I know they do.
Doesn't mean they're going to win.
No.
Just
I feel like I'm going to end up going to that game now because I've been this. I was going to go and watch Limestone MST. Yeah, you're right. I think it's going to be Fredonia Middle College.
you got to be at that game.
All right.
You got to be there.
Book it.
Where's that game?
I think it would be at Bennett High School.
ABR's PS.
It's a yes.
Public school number 79. They don't have good Wi-Fi.
Good thing I didn't show up at Bennett.
They don't have any Wi-Fi there. Not good Wi-Fi. Either way,
I don't need Wi-Fi. I need a LTE signal on a phone through those heavy cement walls to power a laptop and get me just enough juice on a hotspot to get me through.
the most surprising team to you to get to Buff State would be Newfane?
If a team was, if a team got to Buff State, and I'd say, "Wow, hello."
You didn't see that happening. Who
Yeah, Newfane would they would surprise the drawers off of me. Yeah, that would. I'm not expecting to see Newfane there this year. I might see some locals in the crowd.
That you will.
Yep.
Who is the guy that's out there that's under the radar right now that will make Buff State their coming out party?
Ooh, good.
One kid to pick
Good question.
that'll end up that should end up at Buff State, and people are going to leave the arena saying, you know what, that kid's a star. I can't wait till next year.
That dude, right? Oh,
'Cause for a while it was maybe a Hind, maybe, or
Yeah.
the other the point guard from Willie's from a couple years ago.
what a good question, Frank. Why you gotta make me ponder
Yeah,
and
we got some-
now I gotta run through names in my head real fast and teams. The kid who I think will come and have a shining moment at Buff State and put a name out there for himself that we haven't talked about. or that
Could be the kid from Akron.
I that's right where I was about to go. So I do think it's going to be. I'll give you a couple names. So I think Akron would be an interesting one, and I think it could be someone like Ben or Blake Gerstung or Braden Lamont. You know, I talk about Braden Lamont, even if he doesn't have a game where he's scoring 25 points. I think you put him on a big floor like that in a competitive game, and people will see just how well he runs that position for the team. I don't think that I think everyone's expecting Akron to have a big man at this point. They've heard about Darren Brooks, so I don't think he's going to necessarily surprise everybody. But I think when people see Darren Brooks, they're going to say, geez, this kid's really good. You know, so that could be someone. He's only a sophomore, so that is someone that people will leave Buff State and say, he's only a sophomore. Is he going to stay at Akron? And is he, because he's just different.
Yes.
And then I would say Olean has a player named Dominic Giovine who he's been impressive when I've watched Olean, and he's just different. He's got like that European big man style. He's very automatic under the basket for the team. He just keeps getting better every time I watch them. So
He's not from Western New York.
no,
He moved in.
from
Florida,
all right.
maybe? I think he came up from Florida, and he has like an hour and a half drive to school every day. His dad's a math teacher.
That's making good time from Florida. Sweet.
Now, he lives like an hour and a half away from Olean, his high school. I believe that's the kid. We saw him down at Fredonia earlier, did we not?
I want to know how Fredonia's or Olean's pulling that off.
Well, his dad's a teacher there.
Oh, is that how it goes?
I think so.
I don't know what the rules are.
So,
I'm fine with that.
yeah, it doesn't bother me. We have a good player in Western New York. By any
Section 6 office is scrambling right now to verify this story. They're like, is this kid eligible?
Hey,
They're not scrambling because you know what? They're not listening.
thank God. Make a kid ineligible before he even gets on the court.
Yeah. So there, I gave you a couple
Okay.
good ones, hopefully.
Any coaches calling it quits after this year? Do you know of any coaches?
Well, I'll give you another one. Cardell Staples from McKinley.
Oh,
He could
Best
be
cornerbacks in the league.
someone who impresses people at Buff State. I think if McKinley goes in and beats Lockport, Cardell Staples will make a name for himself.
All right. Cardell Staples getting some love on the show. Good boy. Good kid.
What do you got for me to close this up?
Any coaches that you know are hanging the whistle up this year?
I've heard a couple suggest that this would be their last rodeo. I don't want to tip that because they were telling me that in a text message. Yeah, they didn't say in confidence, but my line to people a lot, because people start to say something to me like, this is off the record, and I'll say, we are always off the record unless I say, I want to be on the record with this. Can I say this? You know, I hear so much stuff, and I'm good at just holding it in because that's what you do. Yeah. You know, it's just talking to everybody. I'm not trying to sell anybody out. I'm just trying to understand so that I can have a show like this and deliver what I can, so I can feed my high school passion.
So what did we learn today? You made a bunch of predictions. We had almost 515 people watching at one time, which is fantastic. Thank you very much.
And that's just the live viewers in the middle of the day.
Yeah, you tune in for Chad. Thank you. All good.
All you people that turned off the People's Court to turn us on, thank you.
Yes, that too. No, I can't wait for Buff State. I know it's your favorite time of the year, and we're here. What's sad about it is we only have a couple more weeks, maybe a month at most, of Chad Andrews before you go back and start doing something completely different.
You can get as much Chad Andrews as you want in the summertime.
Yeah.
I'm down to the Sunset Bar and Grill in Wilson, New York, and
Can we do a live show there?
yeah, you probably could do one in May or in September.
Yeah, it wouldn't be basketball. It would probably be like lacrosse, baseball, softball.
Do whatever you want.
Does anyone know anything about those sports up there?
Sure.
We'll bring some.
Just not as much as you know up here. No, we're good. Just different talent levels.
Today was a good show. We talked a lot. We revealed some things. You're going to do your old Keith McShay Act 2.0 at Buff State with Joe Krause and whoever else.
Apparently so.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll be live or recorded or what.
One time it was Here's a story. I walk into the office today, and Frank's like, "You've been requested to do something, or someone wants to do something that you used to do and bring it back." I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You used to, at the end of Buff State, record a show with Keith McShay." And I was like, "I think I did that one time." I think it was one time I did that. So if someone remembers seeing that and wants to do that, that's what's happening. So I said, "Yeah, I can do it." And they tell me who, and said, "Joe Kraus." I said, "Oh, anything for Joe Kraus."
See, Joe, you're wanted.
Yeah. Tell him not to be too professional with me. I don't like that.
I told him no tie. And you may want to do the interview with a cigarette.
Yes. Well, I'm not waiting to go out to my car, right? We're going to have to light up at Buff State.
Can you imagine
I
Joe
don't really
Kraus
smoke cigarettes.
having a smoke while he's doing an interview with you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Most of the interviews I have with Joe Kraus, he's hotboxing cigs left and right. They're just not, recorded. No, none of this is true. There's no cigarette smoking going on. Gross.
You might be here. Yeah, he's got a show coming on after us, 3:00 hockey show. But thank you very much for joining me today and doing this. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me, Tim. Thank you. Thanks to all our producers, and thanks to everybody who listened again. Good luck to everybody. It's the 2-week grind is on right now. Full swing, postseason mode.
Thanks our camera guys too, Harry Doyle and
Sorry, that was good. I don't know why it got me this week.
I said that a couple weeks ago.
I'm going to come up with some names of camera guys next week and see
Dale
if I can
Dobeck.
make you laugh. Right.
Dale Dobeck. And who else? Who's our executive producer?
My names are funnier than Dale
Oh.
Dobeck.
The guy from Semi-Pro. Jackie Moon.
Right on.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.